everybody? Welcome back to MAPOP Sports. This is Grandy. It's just can't even talk. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you guys are returning, welcome back, guys. Hopefully everybody's having a good middle of the week, almost towards the end of this week. It's a pretty fast week, obviously, with the holiday this past weekend, and I had the show and everything, so everything's been moving kind of pretty fast for me, especially, the kids are coming up here at the end of the school year and everything, so everything has just really been picking up. And then sales wise this week, everything has dipped. If you guys are wondering, at least for me, for my eBay store, sales has dipped. I'll do a Q&A. I'll do what's been selling this week for you guys, but I primarily blame it on not being listing in the past like 4 or 5 days over the show, and then obviously a little bit prior to that because that was just prepping for the show. So it takes away, there's a pros. You obviously make sales in person. However, your eBay store kind of gets hurt a little bit, I feel like, by not listing, by not interacting on the eBay site and everything. So, but I've been doing a lot of that the last couple of days, so hopefully it turns around by the weekend and next week. So just let you guys know on that. Today, though, I definitely want to talk about just something that really came up quite a bit at the Denver Card Show a lot at my table. I felt like the conversation was a lot about grading, the current status, current industry, who should we use, but we'll talk about just a few of the topics that we spoke about and why it's so prevalent right now. First things first, though, just this to give everybody a heads up. I don't know if you guys are aware, but for a while there, for like a week or 2 weeks there, PSA was not grading the 2023 Optic retail stuff, which was tremendous because Panini didn't put out their stupid, what you call it, checklist. And, PSA was kind of, no, if you guys aren't going to give us that, we're not going to grade your shit. So go figure. Finally, I think they got the checklist to them. And so as of, what is this, the 30th of May 2024, PSA sent out, I think either yesterday or today, that they will be grading Optic now. So if you guys sent something in from retail Optic or planning to send something in but was waiting, PSA will be grading those now, so go ahead. You should be okay on that. That was just kind of a stubbornness from both ends. I felt like PSA didn't want to grade, and they're like, well, we ain't going to grade it because you didn't give us a checklist. Panini's like, well, you guys are supposed to be the certified graders. You guys need to check. You guys could create your own checklist. I don't know, man. It was just one of those, they were just kind of seeing who had the bigger, stubborn cojones, I guess you could say. But whatever the case may be, they're grading it. There we go. So go ahead and send your guys in if you guys have the Optic. Now, another thing, because that was actually a topic I spoke with, at length with a few people about that whole Optic and Panini and PSA not grading them thing. So that was kind of interesting. But there was also people who were asking me about the grading. Should they use TAG, ISA, some of these smaller companies to grade? I think I did a video about this before. My very first question to them was, what was their end game? What was your goal of grading that card? Were you grading it just to keep it? Were you grading it to add value? Were you grading it for looks? Were you grading it protecting it? What was your end game? And I got a couple answers. We'll talk about number one. The first answer was, I'm just grading it because it's a PC of mine. I just want to protect that card. I told them, use whoever the heck you want. Go with whoever, in reality, money-wise, is probably the cheapest, and also who has the best slabs that looks nice in your card. I told them that you know what, price shouldn't even matter as much as whatever slab looks good to you, and it's a personal preference. We'll talk about that in a second too. Personal preference. And they're like, cool, that makes sense. I go, yeah, don't worry about using PSA just because everybody else is or the value is better, especially if you're just keeping that card as a personal collection. If you're not looking to flip it, you're not looking to technically add value, you just want to protect it and make it look nice, use whatever color slab, whatever scheme of the slab looks good for your card. go with that. That's what I recommended to them. There's a few people who like, well, I want to make sure I add the most value. If that's the case, currently of 2024 in May, PSA is the highest rated value that's going to add to your card if it comes back a 10, especially if it comes back a PSA 10. If it comes back a 9, it just depends on that. I told them though on the very end, that's about 99% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, PSA will come back with a higher value currently. Things could change. There's also the gold label, the black gold label. Some people feel like that is a higher value than the PSA 10. So it just depends on your buyer too. And I told them that, and the specific card. And then another thing was some SGC could add more value than PSA if it's a vintage, because SGC is kind of known for vintage stuff. It's a possibility they could be a little bit higher, but it won't be much. Like I said, it's less than 5% in my eyes from my experience. So if you're looking just to add straight value, PSA was the route to go. I highly recommend that. Another person asked, I just want to slab it just to slab it. If that's the case, man, it just depends. If you could care less, just use the cheapest route. And it just depends on what you're looking to do at your end game when you're grading that card. I don't think the grading system or grading game is going anywhere anytime soon, if you guys are wondering about that. Lines for PSA at the card show was astronomical. I mean, there were days where the line went, probably people waited for an hour or two, I think, just to get stuff graded. I think it was a pretty long line if you didn't get in there with the VIP. And that's the benefit of having that VIP. If you guys are wondering, going to do those card shows, the VIP, I mean, there was no line. If you're a VIP, there might have been 3 or 4 people in line at best. So those are some things you got to weigh pros and cons. Or by the end of the day, the lines was super long to submit stuff just to get graded on that. Another thing about graded cards. Now, this was the thing, was people were asking what I should submit, what I shouldn't submit, if I'm looking to flip or resell or add value, whatever. I've come to change my viewpoint on what cards I'm sending in nowadays. I'm being a little bit more subjective, more picky on what I submit now. Previously, you could submit anything. I mean, technically, you could have submitted during 2020 years, 4 or 5 years ago, during that craze year of the pandemic and all that stuff, and then the sports hobby really going berserk, you can technically grade any base, any insert, and you would have gotten great value for PSA 10s and SGC 10, any 10s and 9s. 9s, you would have probably even made money on some of those 9s. You still can on certain cards. Now, especially, I felt like beginning of this year, I've slowly adapted what I'm submitting to get graded. I'm submitting something that's more rare. If it's a short print, super short prints, I'm more selective on the rookies now. I'm more kind of doing my research just to kind of see where the 9s are, because I'm anticipating those will come back as 9s, and if they come back as 9s, where am I going to be at? Am I going to be out of money? Am I going to be breaking even? Am I going to make a little bit of money? So I'm doing a little bit more research on that, be more selective. More selective of the players. I'm being more selective of who I'm submitting now. I was submitting quite a bit of cool inserts thing, and I was still making money on it. I still make a few bucks here and there on them, but it's just right now I feel like you just got to be more selective. And I was telling people that at the show. I think it just depends if this is going to be a PC. If you're looking to flip whatever, be more selective, because remember, it's going to cost you close to $20 to grade. It's going to cost you about $16 plus the shipping. Do it in bulk. First of all, I told them if you can. And then, like I just said, it's just one of those things, do your homework, do your due diligence to see if it's even worth for you to grade it in case it comes back a 9 or worse. If it comes back worse, you just, in my eyes, sell it, move it as fast as you can, and just clean your hands. That's how I feel about it, and just move on to the next. Don't sit and dwell. You sit and dwell, and then it is what it is. It's whatever the grade they give you, all right? At the end of the day, like I said, it's always subjective. Then like I said, I was just telling people be a little bit more selective. I think the grading game is still there. There's still tons of value in it. I think you just have to be smart about what you're grading. Make sure you review your cards a little bit better. I'm going to start doing that a little bit more in regards to spending more time of what cards I'm going to submit and all that stuff, because I'm not saying I'm losing money, but I feel like there's certain angles, certain cards coming back that they're not gym minting as much as I was previously gym minting. So whether it's my end not looking at the cards as well, or graders are just becoming a little bit more strict in regards to that, who knows? It could be a combination of both, or it could just, it's whatever. So to me, just be a little bit more selective, and I just feel that's the case on that end. So there you guys go. Those were kind of just the kind of the topics that kind of came up, and it's just the normal regular topics. But this is the thing about grading; it's not going anywhere. I feel like it's there's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of negative connotations to it too, also depending on your situation and what you are looking to do in regards to grading your sports cards. So there you guys go. Hopefully it helps you guys out a little bit to kind of game plan for what you're gonna grade, or at least it does for me. I'm just letting you know from my experience. Like I said, I don't know everything. I'm not the master of anything. I'm just kind of letting you guys know what my thoughts are currently and what I thought and what we talked about at the show. There was tons of conversation about grading. I would say 50% of my conversation when people were just shooting a fan with me was about grading. So there you guys go on that. And so if you're wondering, is it going anywhere? No. Should I grade a card? It all depends, guys. So other than that, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I try to keep it short nowadays. Like I said, this week it's just kind of getting back to work. Other than that, man, if you guys like this stuff, feel free to subscribe. If you have not subscribed, still appreciate you checking out the video and everything. Don't forget, check out the eBay store. I will be listing. I got some raw optic stuff for football 2023. I'm going to be listing this week. So lots of new raw cards I'm going to be uploading. So make sure you guys make an offer. Check out the eBay store. Links in the description. Other than that, have a good rest of the week, guys. Till next time, have a good one.